Gather, gather and share your weekly recaps. Gather and share your takes. We've always got you covered with comics, TV shows, movies, and all the bullshit. Oh boy, do we love that last one. Ready to gather? It's time for the Gathering of the Geeks. Without further ado, here are your hosts.
We are Gathering of the Geeks, a podcast and a YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Tuesdays. Thank you for checking out the one with Bane's Veins. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how's it going today?
Good. How's it going?
It's going well. Gathering of the Geeks.
We're live.
Yeah. You're not sure sometimes.
Well, because it does this thing where it says it's been shut down unexpectedly, so I got to do it again.
Oh yeah, no, you're. I think you're aces. I think we're fine.
Okay, cool. Hi.
Yeah. Hello. Gathering of the Geeks. It's available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. All you have to do is search for Gathering of the Geeks, and you'll find us there. We have audio-only podcasts where we talk about TV shows, a couple of movies, and then occasionally episodes of this show that you can get on the audio form as well. Chris, what's the weather like in Texas? It was hot here today, and I have a headache because of it. You love the heat of Texas, so how's it going down there?
I do not love the heat of Texas. It's we're getting to that point where summer is creeping in, but it's not that bad yet. Surprisingly, I think a sane person, or maybe not sane, would say knock on wood or something. I'm not going to do that, but it's not as hot as it usually is around this time, so I'm kind of just cautious. Like I feel like next month is going to look like the opening of Terminator 2.
Just going to be skulls lying all over the ground?
Or the heat. Burn. And maybe there'll be skulls. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It gets wild down here. Who knows?
Yeah.
When you say it's hot, though, what was the temperature up there?
So it was 30 degrees. So I don't know what that is. 30 degrees.
I'm going to do some Googling.
Celsius. I think that's 86. Is that hot or not hot?
It's warm, but it's hot, but not as bad as we're used to. Because like Saturday when I was outside all day for the fundraiser thing, it was the actual temperature was 96 degrees, but like the real feels, or however they put it. I mean, every weather thing has its own deal, but it was 105.
Yeah, that sucks.
It was disgusting. But I think I burned some extra calories and I sweat out all the toxins.
I was going to say it's like you're living in a everyday sauna.
Kinda, yeah. If you want to stay outside, that's why I don't like being outdoors. Very much.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks, Chris. What'd you get up to? Hey, Cookie, how you doing?
I've done a few things. I actually I crammed a lot into today, actually.
Yeah.
Because
like studying for a test.
Kind of, but I've been reading, but I haven't been reading comics. I downloaded an app called Libby. I don't know if you guys have it up there.
Yep, we do.
Okay, so I downloaded Libby, and I've been using my kid's library card so I could read stuff, and that's been really cool. So I've been reading Victorian Psycho, which is going to be a movie, and I was just kind of interested in that. And I have like It queued up by Stephen King because I want to read that before Welcome to Derry. And I'm also going to do a reread of The Vampire Lestat because it's just time.
It is time. How long has that been since you read that?
Oh, that's a great question. I want to say I think I was 14 when I read it last, like in full.
Yeah.
They're like 14 or something. So it's been a while. I've read pieces and stuff. I'm still familiar with it.
Yes,
it sticks with you. But I want to do the reread, and I think that'll be fun.
Nice.
So I've been reading that, Victorian Psycho, which is really a fun book, I think. Oddly enough.
Deal with that.
The best way I could describe it is, I think it takes the title from American Psycho, that kind of concept of they look fine on the outside, but in the end they're nuts.
That's what we like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that, but it's a female character who's a kind of like a nanny for this old royal family, not royal, but
Mm.
prestigious family, and I want to say the 1800s or so.
Yes.
And it's just very interesting. It's fun. It's got a very quirky main character, and her inner monologues are something special.
Murder and Mayhem.
There's something that happens at a point in it where you know the switch has happened. I won't spoil it in case you decide to read it, but once it happened, like, oh wow, we are in new territory.
Good.
Yeah, the movie was supposed to have Margaret Qualley as the main character, but now it will be Micah Monroe playing her. Which I kind of, after reading it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I think this role was written for Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, when I read it, I kind of just visualize her. But anyway, so that's one of the things I've been reading. And I did read some comics, though. I read a bunch of comics.
Indeed.
One of them, I actually don't remember the name of it, but it was good. It was the vampire book I've been waiting on.
The one, the blood type, that one?
That's the one, yes. I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah.
I was going to call it Blood Sample.
Yeah, close.
I was close. Yeah, blood type.
Yeah,
so Blood Type #1 came out last week. You know, I've been waiting on this for I think a couple of months now. And it's part of that series I don't want to read, but
that's right.
Now I know I don't have to because it is separate, so that's cool.
That's right.
But it does have like that Crypt Keeper kind of narrator, and I love that. He's really neat.
Okay. Yeah. He's very jovial, that fella.
Yeah. He's basically the Crypt Keeper with clothes.
Yeah.
Because I think the Crypt Keeper is like in a tattered robe or something because he lives in the crypt, of course. This guy's out and about. He's on boats. He's living the life. He's a ghoul. Ghoul about town. So I enjoyed that story a lot. I think the art is beautiful. I'm not usually an Andrea Sorrentino fan because the art's kind of scratchy a lot of the time for me. But I think it works really well with this story, and the way the characters are designed is nice. I just think it's a fun read too. And we don't really get quality vampire comics that often, I feel. They're kind of here in between, sort of far in between. So it's nice to get this one. It's, I think, the right amount of spooky. It has some dark stuff in it. There's some violence. There's a little bit of humor. And the main character, Ada, is, I think she seems pretty cool.
Yeah, she's got layers. I think she's got some layers that...
I think there's some layers, yeah. But I like the personality they've kind of given her so far. It's working for me.
Yeah, I really like this one too. I kind of relate it to Bloodstained Teeth, where it's got this like new age vampire feel. Like this is what a vampire would be like in a pop culture world. Like it's not an old timey vampire tale. It takes place right here, right now, and there's there's rich people and snobby people and regular people, and just something about it feels more everyday, more. I don't know, like it could be a real vampire. Like something about it just had a nice realism to it.
It's got a modern flair.
Yeah, modern flair. That's right. And yeah, I like the humor in it as well. I like the story, and I love the art. Just something about the some of the dialogue and the monologue mixed back and forth was I don't know what to say, confusing. I don't know what. Okay, so it's something like that. It's just a little bit offbeat, a little bit like you don't get like a rhythm with it. So it might take a little bit more reading. Maybe that's just the writer's style. But yeah, just something about that had me held up a little bit. But everything else, like just where the story was going and the violence, I thought was done very well. Like the vampires, like I don't know if we'll talk about it later, but I like vampire that just have fangs. They're not monsters. I like that idea. Like it's very simple. She's not like Abigail. Abigail has those teeth and
dark teeth.
Vampires, and yeah, exactly. So I'm very much just the fang type of vampire person. So I really appreciated that. It'll be interesting to see Ada and how she goes forward with her. I don't know, what do you call it? Like her Renfield. I don't know what you'd call that guy who's following her around.
I forgot what she called him.
Well, like he calls her a mistress.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's kind of an interesting dynamic too.
Yeah, she's got a Renfield right off the bat, sort of.
Yeah.
I always like that to see that in stories.
Yeah.
Vampires, so. Yeah, but the monologue and the dialogue going back and forth so much, it gets kind of confusing, and I think there's not really a great balance of it. And then you throw in the Crypt Keeper guy is also speaking.
Yes.
So it is a lot, but I think it's worth reading. It's a worthy time. especially if you like the spookier stuff. And like I said, there's plenty of spooky comics. It just take your pick. I like this one.
Yep, same.
So I read that. I caught up with the Jason Aaron Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book that we've both been slacking on.
Yes.
I think I read 3 issues in a row, and that was pretty good.
Mhm.
Really happy with that. My only complaint on this series, and this is a lot of comics, I think, when they're written to be read so closely together, it's hard when you miss a month because you feel like you missed half of the story unless you have the memory of Sheldon, Sheldon Cooper. It's really weird like that for me anyway. And so when I picked up the issues earlier, I just kind of felt like I was lost because I couldn't remember anything that happened before. So I had to flip through a little bit to remember. And then once I did, I was like, oh, okay, that's what it was. It's not a knock on the storytelling. It's just the way the stories are told, I think. And the amount of information that each issue comes with is quite a lot, I think.
Yes.
Maybe these newer 2 are simpler, I think, because they were more just getting one turtle to the point, like from point A to point B. So it's a little easier to digest. But anyway, I really love this series, and I'm glad that I started picking it up because I wanted to get more into the turtle comics anyway. But I always thought that they were too far gone for me because there's hundreds of these issues. It's like trying to pick up a Batman book now. Where do you start? So I was really happy with the issues I read today.
Yeah, one of the things I liked about it, and it was something I wasn't expecting, is that after the end of the first arc, when the turtles kind of get back together, I was expecting, it's going to be, the turtles doing their thing as a group. But in these issues, I read 8 and 9. 9 just came out last week, I think, and 8 the month before. But I still like that they're focusing on kind of one turtle or 2 turtle per issue. Like I think the last one, number 9, was Raph and Michelangelo, and then the one before that was Leonardo. So I still like that idea still, because that was one thing that I wasn't sure was going to work during the first arc. When that first issue, you get Raph in the jail. I'm like, oh, this is a little different. But the more that they keep telling the story, and then the moments of them being together are much more important, much more heightened when we do see them together, and the state that they're in, and all the problems that they're having. It's nice to see that in a very short amount of time in these issues, Jason Aaron does a lot of storytelling. I think very quickly with giving each turtle the light shone on them, and then the whole group together as well. So I really appreciate how the story is being told about these turtles, because it's so much about these individual turtles, and what they're going through, and how they aren't working alone, and how they aren't working as a team. I just really appreciate how the story is being told over these, in this new arc of 7, 8, and 9.
It's got a lot more heart than I expected too, and that's not. I don't know if that's a Ninja Turtle thing. Like, maybe the issues don't, or the other series don't, but there's a lot of like deep stuff that I was not expecting, and I really like that. Joe is asking if Joelle Jones is still on art. No, it's Juan Faria.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's not Joelle.
Nope.
But I don't think Joelle did the art for this series. I think she's the artist on the other series, because I believe there's 3 Ninja Turtle series going on right now.
Yeah, Joelle Jones did the art on the first issue, but then in the next issue it was somebody else, and then the third issue was somebody else. So every issue in that first arc was a different artist.
Okay.
So Joelle did the first issue.
I know the last 2 issues have looked really good.
Yeah.
I like the design of everything.
Yep. Yeah. Same. And you talk about the, how emotional it is. Again, I've never read a Ninja Turtles book aside from The Last Ronin. I didn't read any of the IDW stuff. I didn't read any of the the creator-owned stuff from many years ago. So I don't know if this is how they're supposed to go. Joe, maybe or anybody else knows if this is what it's supposed to be. But if this was what it is, I've been missing out. Like the stuff with Donnie, in this arc with the Splinter character, and how the Splinter character is being involved in every one of the turtles' lives so far during this series. It's just like, whoa, man, it's pretty heavy stuff, and like seeing the turtles with serious mental health problems, seeing Donnie stick his neck out after what we saw him do in the first arc with him being in the cages and protecting so many other mutants, and then see where he's going in issue 8, where he kind of gives himself up to the powers that be, this the DA Hale or
Yeah.
whoever. Just like, I was not expecting this level of selflessness from the Donnie character, and then the Splinter character, how he's affecting each one of the turtles from the afterlife. I'm not really sure like where they're going with it, but it's really interesting how they're playing this Splinter character out. Like, he's not just a 4.5 foot tall talking rat. They're really doing something different from what I know of the TV shows and the movies that I've seen. It's very new to me, obviously, again, not knowing too much about the turtle universe in comics, but just something about it is so fresh and exciting. And I'm very invested in each one of the turtles and their story and their journey so far.
I agree. And I think it also, like you said, it's new to us. And maybe it's not new to other people, but it is new to us. And I'm enjoying this new look at them. And it kind of makes me want to see more stuff like this and other forms of media. Because I'm only used to typically one version of them, really. You don't get this except for maybe the first movie from, the 90s. That movie, I think, it has the emotional beats. The rest of them really don't.
Right.
And I don't think the animated series do either. So I like the version of the Turtles, though. It's good stuff.
100%.
Then I attempted to read an X-Men book because Mr. Sinister was on the cover. And then I realized I don't know what I'm reading. So I put that down.
New X-Men?
It was Exceptional X-Men number 10. I was like, oh, he's on the cover. What's this about?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, that's I read a couple. I was like, nope. We got to come back to this later when I have a year to catch up. So then I ended up catching up with Ultimate Wolverine. Before I get into that, though, Joe asked, what's your guys' favorite TMNT adaptation? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, it's hard not to say the first movie, but I definitely like the new one, too. Mutants and Mayhem, or Mayhem and Mutants, what it's called?
Mutant Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem. I really love that one, just for myself as a father, being able to watch it, with my son. But like that, the original movie is so, I don't know if iconic's the right word, but it's such a mood for that time, is when I was a kid growing up. So probably just the first movie.
My answer is either one of those. And for the same reason you picked Mutant Mayhem too, because I got to watch it with my kid and she loves it. So I go either way. I think maybe the original one for myself. Yeah. And then the newer one as an adult, like, oh, this is something different. So what's your favorite, Joe? So Ultimate Wolverine, this is funny. I thought I hadn't read an issue. And then as I was reading, I was like, oh, I did read this, but I remembered nothing about it. So I reread an issue for no reason, I guess. And then the new stuff. One issue was absolutely bizarre. I'm going to spoil it because it's been 2 months.
Yes.
The entire issue is monologues, but not monologues. It's dialogue boxes over a wolf hunting a grizzly bear. It is 32 pages of a wolf hunting a grizzly bear with these random text boxes over it. It is the weirdest thing.
It's a metaphor for what?
You tell me. Marvel, I'd like my $4. The issue is fine, I guess. The dialogue is all to depict Wolverine is going crazy in a lab. But you don't see Wolverine going crazy in the lab. You see the wolf hunting and fighting with a grizzly bear. Oh, that Nickelodeon series is amazing, actually. I like that one, too. That was really good.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's awesome. Nice. So, yeah, it's 32 pages, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I kept, reading, thinking, okay, well, we're going to get to something, right? Right? And then you do, I think, at the end. But it's just like, what the hell? But the most recent issue was really good.
So that was
the
most recent issue is number 6. So I'm guessing number 5 is the one you're talking about.
No, 4 is the one with the wolf
Yes,
and
I see
the
that on that thing.
grizzly. 5 introduces
Mm.
Sabretooth. Or was it 6 that
Now
introduced
5 is
Sabretooth?
Sabretooth, I see.
When you read them in a block, it's hard
Yes.
to remember. Okay, 5 is Sabretooth, yeah. Yeah, so 5 is Sabretooth. That means 4 is the dumb wolf. Full of grizzly bears. But yeah, 6 is really good. 5 is really good. Also, Leech is in this universe, which
You
I
love
love
Leech.
Leech. I do love Leech. Leech is great. So it's cool to see Leech is included in the Ultimate Universe now. And I'm really interested to see where this book goes now because it's hit a certain plot point where I guess we're going to see the formation of some kind of X-Men.
Well, there is an absolute
So
or an Ultimate X-Men book, though, right?
There is, but I don't think it has anything to do with this because I've seen like the covers and read the synopsis for it. It doesn't seem to fit with this. So I think they both exist, but I don't think they're connected in any way other than they're mutants. Like, not a spoiler, Jean Grey is in this book, and it's not the Jean Grey we know,
Yes.
kind of. So I would imagine the Ultimate X-Men is completely different. But yeah, those were my reads. Other than I'm sure we're going to talk about Absolute Batman.
Yeah, so I've only got one other one on top of the TMNT blood type, and then talking about Absolute Batman. But Robin and Batman, Jason Todd from Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen, came out last week, I think. So it's a sequel to their Robin and Batman series from a couple years ago, where it focused on Dick Grayson. This one's focusing on Jason Todd. I'm a big fan of this team. I'm a big fan of anytime that Nguyen and Lemire get together. You know, they did Little Monsters together. They did Ascender and Descender together, on and on and on. So this one deals with a very much more jaded Jason Todd and a Bruce Wayne / Batman who is more out of his depth than he was raising Dick Grayson. And they make sure they remind us of that a couple of times when there's a meeting between Alfred and Bruce saying, you know, Dick Grayson was a special kind of person and there's something wrong with Jason. So I really like the idea they're playing up with this idea that, you know, that Jason is broken already and he can't be fixed no matter how hard Batman, Bruce, Alfred want to try. But then there's also this new villain. I'm not sure if it's Wraith. I'm not sure if this is a villain you've heard of in the Batman universe. It's not one that I've heard about. Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to see. It's only 3 issues, so they don't have too long, but they're oversized issues. So, anyways, I love this issue. I love the first, the original series, and I like this one too. I'm a fan of Dustin Nguyen's art, even though the watercolored brush strokes sometimes aren't most people's favorite. I like Batman's suit in this one. He's got the blue and the gray, which is kind of cool. And I like anytime Batman has a Robin, I'm in. It seems like lately, you know, last week I talked about Batman and Robin year 1. Just again, whenever Batman has a Robin, that's more my Batman. And I appreciate the troubles he's having raising these delinquents in his these hooligans. And it's nice seeing this just Jason Todd being jaded and already the hints of not being able to be saved and his slow descent into obviously Red Hood at some point down the line, I'm sure. So really like this one. Can't wait to read the next 2 after this one.
I forgot this was out. I will get to it because I did want to read this. I'm very interested in seeing a Lemire take on Jason Todd specifically. I think that just sounds fun. Also, I think did you see that they announced a new Red Hood series?
I did see that too? More of a 17 plus mature readers only, which is not it's not a DC Black Label. It's an ongoing series with a 17 plus, which is not something they do very often or at all that I recall.
No, I'm kind of curious how this is going to go, and I probably wouldn't have been that interested, but Huntress is also included, so I think that's fun.
Nice. Yeah,
nice
that is for sure. So that's that one, and then Absolute Batman number 9, the introduction of Bane into the Absolute universe. Chris, when this came out and I got to read it, I said it's very absolute. You know, if you've read the series, then you know what that means. Everything is big, everything is bold, but it also has some very a good amount of finesse, I think, that Scott Snyder does in this issue as well. What do you think of Absolute Batman number 9?
I'm a sucker for this series. I love it. I think anything they've thrown at me with this, I've pretty much loved, except for that one issue you and I are both kind of on. But no, this is a great introduction for Bane. I like that it's the intelligent Bane, and he also has the viciousness of the Bane people expect. And then they have that crazy twist at the end with the Venom.
The veins, man, with the veins.
Yeah, the Bane's veins, man. I was not expecting that part of it. I thought he's just, he's already juiced up. So, but it's just a really cool issue, and I like how cinematic it feels. I don't know if you got that from this. It feels very cinematic.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because of the presence that Bane has on every single panel that he's on. Like he feels like the real deal. Like especially like when you think about like Black Mask earlier on, how that version of Black Mask versus this Bane and this Batman didn't feel like they belonged in the same ring together. I guess kind of is the right word. There's something about this Bane feels much more, like you're saying. I think cinematic is the right word to use.
Cinematic, and I think it feels like this is Bruce's first real challenge. Which, I mean, Freeze was a bit of a challenge, but once he got free, he realized, okay, I can't do this. I'm gonna do.
I'm out.
That's what he did. Right, I'm out for this one. Freeze can do it. I'm done. This, he's kind of stuck there right now. Also, we got some cool reveals. There's a bunch of cameos, which are really neat. We could talk about those because Scott Snyder himself spoiled them.
Is around. One of those ones.
No.
Oh yeah, not okay.
Yeah, Slade Wilson was a teammate of Alfred. The Joker is also in the same picture there. We saw Selena full on as an adult. There's the Dick Grayson thing. I might be forgetting something. There's a lot in this issue. This was a big issue.
In more ways than one. And then like the idea of absolute Bane, like it could have been ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous to an extent, but I don't think it's any more ridiculous or as ridiculous as the giant, tank Batmobile or the axe thing that he takes off his chest and uses that, or the creature Mr. Freeze. Like this doesn't feel as bad as people are, I think, scared about. Like, oh my god, what the hell is he doing? What the hell is this gigantic monster? I don't think it's as bad as people would think it is. Specifically how they treat Bane as a character, how he treats himself, and then the idea of him getting more venomized at the end of the issue, it still kind of makes some sense. Like he should be like that. Like that's the point of this venom that he's putting into his body. I just, for me, it just felt, there was, like I said, it's absolute yes, but I was not like, oh, this is just ridiculous, and I love it, but it's I didn't get that ridiculousness as much as I would have expected with this, 25-foot Bane. Something about it still worked for me in that way.
It kind of reminds me of the Batman, the animated series Bane. I don't know if you remember that one. He was like a normal sized dude, then he hits the venom, he turns into a giant red Hulk, basically. That's kind of what it reminded me of. But I also wonder, will there be a point in episode where we say this is too much? I'm not, because to me, the Batmobile, whatever the hell that is, that pushes it, but simply because I don't understand what I'm looking at. Maybe if I understood what I was looking at, I'd be more okay with it. It is cool, but in some shots, it's the size of a small skyscraper, and then it's also a car underwater. So it's just kind of confusing with that. But so far, I don't think they've done anything where it's really takes you out and says, "What is this?" So I think they're doing pretty good. I am very interested to see how Batman gets out of this. The cover for 10 has him unmasked and with the axe in hand. So I'm a little curious where we're going.
A paper cut on Bane's finger.
Something. And I guess Bane's going to know who he is. Not that it matters in this one. This Bruce Wayne is not a public figure, so it's that guy,
Yep. So, yeah, I really like this one. I like the small moments we get with Batman and Alfred as well. They're starting to build that relationship a little bit more. How do you feel about the rogues gallery and Batman in this one. The idea of more and more of them working together before I assume these people turn really bad. I'm not really sure how it's gonna shake out. But what do you think about that?
This
Yeah.
is different because Bruce is always alone. So now he's not. He can't use that excuse. Oh, I'm a loner. He's not. He's got pals. I like the use of them, and I also think they will be plucked away one by one.
Right.
That's my guess. But I like that he's got them. The Alfred thing, I'm kind of wondering if I like Alfred, but I don't really feel he's
Right.
necessary
Right.
to this story right now. I'm wondering if that'll change going forward. But right now, I mean, Bruce has friends. Alfred just kind of pops in and out of the issues and kind of just yells at him. And that's it. So I don't know, but I do like the friends group. I'm waiting to see if they turn bad. Like we know Waylon is about to become Croc.
Yep.
That's apparent. I think Penguin's halfway there already. Riddler is doing Riddler shit just behind the scenes. So it's kind of like they're there, but they're not there.
That's interesting. Something very different, obviously, the way they're using, Batman's main villains. It's very, very interesting.
It's a good way to do the take, I think, because if they're committing to this take.
That's for sure.
They are committing to it, and I like that.
Yeah, so that's Absolute Batman number 9 again. Chris and I both dig it. Both very much want to read more and are loving this version of Batman. And looking forward to more. Okay, Chris, that's our reads for the last little while. What are some watches? What'd you watch over the last little while?
A few things. I watched Ballerina, which I don't think we talked about last time. I love Ballerina. I think Ballerina is one of the best action movies of the year so far. She doesn't feel like a John Wick clone, which is what I thought she was going to be like. She is her own character, so that's cool with me. I think Armis does fantastic whenever she does action in films, and this is another example of it. I also think she's a better actress than some would think, and it comes
People
through
don't think
here.
she's a good actress?
Some people don't. I think because they've seen her like in Ghosted or one of those other like streamer action movies she did. I can't remember what it was called. I think so. She's great in a lot of stuff. But this, she gets to show both sides. She can do action and she can act. So, and it's just got some really cool sequences, like some stuff you have not seen on film before, even in the John Wick films. And she also functions differently than him because where he is experienced and he's basically unstoppable, she is not, and it shows. She's still bulletproof, of course, but not as much as he is. So, Ballerina, highly recommend. I loved it. I think you.
I'm very much excited. Actually, me and my son have been watching the John Wick movies. Kind of saving a conversation for a bit later, but yeah, me and my son have made the entrance into R-rated action movies. Yes,
this is the way.
I told him before. I'm like, okay, this is a movie, son. This is fake blood. Those aren't real guns. Let's go and have some fun and watch it. So we just started the third one today, actually. So I know he'll want to watch more and more and more. So yeah, we'll be watching Ballerina as soon as we can. Is there how much of aside from John Wick being in it? Does it feel like there's lots of connections between the two worlds, the movies at all? Is there any callbacks to what we've seen already?
Yeah.
Like the main scene in number 3 where they actually go to the ballerina thing and with Angelica Houston and stuff?
Yeah, there are connections. You don't have to see the John Wick movies to appreciate Ballerina, but it does help. And they weave them together really well. This was really well done. I also wonder how much of it was.
I was just going to ask you, could you tell where some of that stuff happened? No? Okay.
No, I have no idea where the reshoots were. But now I'm extremely curious because they said the reshoots were initially just to add more action. The movie has a ton of action, so what was here before?
Every action scene is new.
And it might be, I don't know. Maybe they did lean into the more tame aspect, like, she's inexperienced. I don't know. Because I couldn't tell where the split is. But yeah, Ballerina is awesome. I love it. That's one I'm looking forward to owning on 4K. I watched the new Predator film, Killer of Killers.
Oh, damn it.
It's not an
I
anime.
forgot about that. No,
You
I
didn't see
forgot
it?
about it. Dang.
I
No, I
thought
did
you
not. I
watched it.
should, though. Dang.
Well, I'm not gonna say much about it other than it's
Awesome.
really good,
Yeah.
and you should check it out. And
They
maybe I
probably
will
would.
enjoy it too. It's animated. It's animated. It's
Yep.
animated blood
Yeah.
and predators.
Yep.
It's cool. Do you like The Accountant?
Oh, yeah. I love that movie.
Okay, when I saw it in theaters, I
Hmm.
didn't love it. I thought it was fine. Now, I will say I had people with me. I usually go to the movies alone, but I actually had a group
That's
with me on
cool.
this one. The group was pretty vocal throughout the movie, including one of them
Yeah.
just guessing the ending
Oh,
halfway
jeez.
through and vocalizing that. And now I'm not a person who usually figures out endings because I just get sucked
Yes.
into what I'm watching. So hearing that just threw me off completely for the rest of it. Like, well, what if he's right? And he was, but I didn't love the movie the first time I watched it. I didn't watch it again after. I was like, okay, I didn't like it very much.
Mhm.
It was fine, whatever. It's overrated. And then I was scrolling through Prime and I saw Accountant 2 was on there. It's like, oh, okay, everybody seemed to like this one a lot, but I don't remember the first one because of this or that or the other. So I rewatched the first one on Thursday night, I think, maybe Wednesday night. That's a great movie. There's a lot of great stuff in it. Affleck is
Yep.
so good. That's one of his best performances, I think. Not like the best. I think for me that's Gone Girl, but or The Town. But he's really good in The Accountant, and the action is awesome. I like the story of it. Just good stuff all around. So I watched that, and then I did watch The Accountant 2. The Accountant 2 is even better. It's a little different though. I think it's a lot
I
lighter.
saw a clip online of Ben and John Bernthal in a bar where they were talking to
I
some
love
girls.
that
I'm like,
scene.
okay, that's very different than
And that's basically
right.
the tone. Watching that, you'll get that. And you could also see in that scene, Affleck's performance is different. They lean more into the autistic side. 'Cause I think that's what he's diagnosed with in the first one, if I remember correctly. So they lean much more into it for the second one. Even his speech pattern is different, which I was kind of wondering why they did that. But also they recast Justine, his contact at Harbor.
Oh yes, okay, yeah,
The
yeah,
lady in
yeah.
the chair. They recast her as someone also who is part of the community to kind of
Right.
help with that as well. So I think they wanted to just appreciate the community more and show that, showing up for them. So that was cool. But The Accountant 2 is basically better in every way. I think the story is a little bit stronger. The characters are stronger. Affleck is again fantastic, and him and Bernthal have an amazing chemistry. He's also funny in it, which I don't think I've ever seen John Bernthal in a light performance. He's either screaming at Rick about zombies, or he's confused on Daredevil.
Confused on
Daredevil. Frank Castle lives in a state of confusion in New York City. If anybody's ever seen the Punisher series or the Daredevil series, he constantly looks like he just woke up and doesn't know where he is.
It's fun.
But in this, he knows where he is, and he's pretty fun. So, yeah, The Accountant 2. Rewatch Batman again. Don't need to go into it. Everybody knows I love it. And I checked out Materialists. You've seen all the discourse about this one, right?
No, I've not. I've seen that you loved it. You were excited for it. I think I saw that Nico watched it and liked it. I'm not sure if I've seen. Not sure if I've seen the discourse about it. Your problems?
So the Materials is a wild kind of thing. It's very divisive. It was marketed as a rom-com from like the early 2000s, late 90s. Like you'd expect Kate Hudson to be in this thing from the trailers. That's not what it is. It is a very grounded, real-world, serious film. And the three leads are fantastic. They really do an amazing job throughout the film, and I like the movie a lot. But there are some things that just don't add up when you start thinking about it. It gets pretty dark at one point for no reason, in my opinion. It's a whole subplot that should have been cut, if you ask me. And it makes the pacing really slow down. And it makes the movie feel like it's 3 hours long. It's kind of a mixed bag. I did enjoy it a lot, though. but it's a difficult one to talk about when
But
you
you like
haven't
all
seen it.
the leads in it, Pedro and Chris and
I do.
Dakota.
I like the. Yeah, I realize I'm a Dakota fanning, a Dakota Johnson apologist because I think she's great in everything. Look, Madam Web wasn't that bad. I have seen worse. I've
Yeah,
seen
that's
Venom
right.
3.
Oh goodness,
Venom 3 is bottom of the
I agree
barrel
with you.
dog shit. So, but it's one of those movies. I think it's a good conversation piece, and I thought it was entertaining. But it's also just a good
So it's
conversation.
A24. Is it A24 or is it kind of a dialed down a bit?
No, it's dialed down. It's well, that sounds terrible. Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's one of those things. It is not for everybody. And I don't know. I don't want to spoil. There's some stuff in it. Like, so the main character likes to say she's a horrible person throughout the film, but she doesn't do anything horrible. But they keep telling you she's horrible. It's like, well, where is it? I would like to see the
I get you.
horrible now. Get us out of this other thing. Show me the horrible. And there's just some other things. I don't know. It's just. I will watch it again because I liked it. But the more the more I think about it, like, well, I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
I hate it when that happens. I hate it when that
We'll see how it
happens.
goes.
When you have to think about a movie so much afterwards that it gets worse and worse the more you think about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, a movie that sticks with you, I think.
Either way, whether it's good or bad, if you're still thinking about it afterwards,
Right.
yeah.
I think it's done its job. And then, the discourse about it is kind of what I was mentioning. It's not a rom-com. It's depressing. It has a cynical way of looking at life, which it does. It's not uplifting whatsoever. Even the ending, although it's happy, is like, well, what did we do to get here? So it's just kind of a bizarre one. That's where the discourse is. Some people are not outright hating it. I've only seen one person outright hate it, but I've seen a lot of like negativity toward it because of that. And I can't disagree. I'm looking forward to if you watch it, actually.
I may get to it. We'll see.
You may. If you do, you
if you do, you will.
Yeah. Dakota Fanning is Pascal. They're wonderful.
Yeah, that would be the reason to watch. Like I said, that's a good selling point right out the gate, having those three.
Or, if I may, you could just watch all the interviews that they've done about the film. Those are funny.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
And you get the same amount of chemistry.
Yeah.
I'll send you the TikToks.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
We can do that now.
Yeah.
That's what I watched.
Cool. So last time we were here, I talked about Love, Death, and Robots, and it made me think about Black Mirror, and how I hadn't watched the new season. So I went back and looked about what I had watched, and I missed season 5, 6, and 7. 7's the newest one. I don't know why I did this, and maybe it's because Miley Cyrus is in the first episode or in one of the episodes, but I completely just didn't watch number 5. I figured I don't know why.
Do you hate Miley Cyrus?
I don't think so.
Maybe like she was in it, then I stopped watching it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because I thought to myself, or subconsciously I thought that the reviews were bad for the series around the time that the season that came out that she was in it. But it was also the same time that interactive movie came out, Bundercatch. It was by Black Mirror. It was like an interactive, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I remember. I didn't do that, but yeah.
I don't know if it's just my brain is not computing what actually happened, but what I think happened is the reviews weren't very good for 5. So I'm saying, okay, I'm going to avoid that because life's too short. I've only got so much time to watch some Black Mirror. So I watched 6 and I started 7, and it just made me remember, much like when I was watching Love, Death, and Robots. I love this anthology type of show where you can watch one episode and then that one's gone. And then you just watch the next one and it has nothing to do with it. I love this futuristic. I don't like the futuristic look it has on the future because most of the time it's very depressing. And many people die most of the time. And there's a lot of horrible people doing horrible things. But I just like this idea of like the tech that's in these episodes that there's an episode where a girl is watching, she has a bad day at work. She goes home to watch TV on a Netflix type app, and it's her entire day, played by Salma Hayek. and
Okay.
then Selma Hayek goes home at the end of her day in that episode and goes home, and it's Kate Blanchett playing her, and it goes on and on and
Those are
on.
some names for Black Mirror.
Yeah, so it was kind of, and then Michael Cera's in that episode, and so anyways, it's just the technology in these episodes is always quite interesting to me, and how they work it into mostly how horrible people are, how cynical this show is towards the general world, and how people don't care about one another. They only care about themselves. They're only very selfish. But also it's very twisted at times. There's one about a serial killer. Yeah, there's one about a girl falling in love with a demon who gives her a job to do. Anyway, so there's a whole
That
bunch of
sounds
weird.
fun to me.
Again, the Black Mirror is so strange. It's like saying one episode is weird, but they're all weird.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that I started watching again, because I remember watching those early seasons, and I forgot how short they were too. I forgot they were like only three episodes a season. The 6 and 7 are a little bit longer. They've got 5, 6 episodes in them. But yeah, so I'm on 7 right now, still watching it. But yeah, I just love this anthology series, much like a comic book. It's just something a little easier to consume, where you don't have to invest too much time, like we were talking about with TMNT. Like, you got to know what happened six issues ago, and you haven't read in 3 issues.
6 months
you have to
ago.
go back. Exactly. So it's just a little bit easier to consume, and if you don't watch for a little while and you want to watch something else and pick it back up again, then you can do that too. So yeah, it feels kind of cool to be watching Black Mirror again. The other one is Sinners, that I watched last week. So I want to stop first and not talk about Sinners, but talk about IMAX a little bit. So there's some very talked about IMAX scenes in Sinners. IMAX is all the rage right now with people who love theaters and stuff like that. What's your, I don't want to say policy, but what are your thoughts on this, the changing aspect ratio, where one scene is regular and then it goes to an IMAX type of, so where it fills up the whole screen, and then it goes back depending on what the scene is. Like, I was watching, the reason this came about is me and my son were watching the Mission Impossible movies. We didn't start off with hard R action movies. We started off with more casual. And the scene in Fallout where he's running towards the helicopter with the payload hanging from it, and it expands. But then it goes back and forth to stuff in the town where it's shrunk again. And Sinners does the same thing to an extent. Does it bother you in any way? Do you notice it? Do you notice this when you're watching at home, or even watching it in the theater? Do you think, as good as the scenes look on IMAX, do you find that you lose something going back to the regular aspect ratio?
That is a great question. We'll use Sinners because that is the most recent.
Mm-hmm.
In the theater, I actually didn't notice when it went full screen.
Right.
I think also, though, I was just in it to win it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
I was, as the kids say, locked in, chat or whatever. I was in it.
He was locked in, folks.
I was locked in, He was singing the song, the things were going on, the house was on, the barn was on fire.
The guy with shoulder pads was
there.
playing. Yeah, I get you.
I'm good. I'm in it. We're in. But then at home, because at home it's still different. I was like, oh, the screen just went huge. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, at home I notice it, I think, more than in a theater. But like Mission Impossible does that too, in a very key scene, and that's the only cool thing about the scene. So I do remember that.
Right.
Generally, though, at home, I think the IMAX ratio doesn't bother me at all. I like seeing it because it does make some scenes look better, especially if you're watching it on your 4K TV or whatever. But in a theater, I honestly don't notice it most of the time. The only reason I noticed it with Mission Impossible is because they made a point to have you notice it.
Right.
It didn't feel like an organic thing. Like, if I remember correctly, Tom Cruise is turning a wheel or something, and then the screen gets larger as he turns it. Like with each.
Are you talking about the newest one?
Yeah, the newest one.
Yeah. Okay.
He's turning something, and as it turns, it moves.
Right.
Yeah. So it's Sinners. It just happens, and I didn't notice it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've only seen one movie in IMAX. It was The Dark Knight Rises.
That's a good one.
And again, I love the scenes, but something about the back and forth, the way it's edited, and it's just something about it. If I don't notice it, it's fine. Like you're saying, you don't notice it in the theater, but then if you do notice it, I'm in my head saying, oh, here it comes again, or I don't know if it doesn't take away. I don't know if take away is the right word, but I don't want to notice it. I don't like noticing changes.
I don't think it
Aside
adds
from like in
anything.
Sinners, where it's purposeful. And again, in
Mhm.
Mission Impossible during the scene of Fallout, it slowly does it. But once you're there, then it just goes back. It doesn't slowly go back. In Sinners, it
I
does at the end of that scene, but in other IMAX scenes, it goes back and forth.
I think the issue is the back and forth part of it. When you do the full,
Yes.
when you commit to the sequence, do the sequence. Don't, because
Right.
Dark Knight does that too,
Yes.
and it's annoying. And I can say it is annoying in Dark Knight at some
Yeah.
points
Yeah.
because the screen just fluctuates. But yeah, if you're going to do the full IMAX, commit to it and just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So, focus on that sequence, which Sinners does beautifully, and Mission Impossible did too. The last one,
Mm-hmm.
they did just focus on that one thing for 15 unnecessary minutes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a time when the technology is good enough where the screen is full all the time.
I don't know if
Like,
we'll get there.
you don't think we'll ever get there? Like, will you be able to watch The Materialist in full screen?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
maybe with I don't know. After
Like,
I forget about
and
it.
that's the other thing about noticing when movies don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I watched Furiosa this past week again. I'm like, if that movie had IMAX scenes, if Fury Road was in the full IMAX,
I think Fury Road does have scenes like that.
yeah. So, but if it's the whole thing, it's like, man, it's the movie. If they could find a way to make the whole movie the
I think it's
aspect
too
they
expensive.
showed, yeah, I assume so. I hope the technology is there one day because like, um, I just think it adds so much to the theater experience. But then
Mm-hmm.
if you're a person who in general only watches big movies at home, and I have a nice big TV, it still adds to that experience as well. I hope one day that technology is available because the format is so beautiful to look at.
It is.
But then if you let's talk about Sinners a little bit, it's used in a way that is storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we talked about Sinners, Chris. Maybe you just said how much you loved it, but if you want to kind of just go again,
Oh, I want to
I'll.
hear your version of it.
Okay,
I'm
so
excited. I've been waiting for it. Mhm.
There's a lot that I did like about it. Michael B. Jordan as
Mhm.
Smoke and Stack, outstanding. I don't remember the gentleman's name who plays the cousin, the
Oh,
newcomer
he's new.
guy. Yeah,
This
new
is his
guy.
first movie.
That like his voice, his emotion during the end. His love interest. I think it's
Villarreal.
Stack's. I think it's Stack's love interest or Smoke. Can't remember. The voodoo woman who
Oh,
I,
Womni something. Yeah.
yeah, she's probably I don't know the most beautiful woman I've ever seen
Mhm.
in this movie. Again, visually, it's very good. I think the IMAX scenes are done very well. Even the non-IMAX scenes, when they're driving, and the cotton fields are on either side. The sound, like the music in this, like again in that IMAX scene, is something. It's used in something that in a way that I hadn't seen before with the way that it told a story, and that was something I didn't know what was part of this movie. I didn't know that the music was going to be used as a storytelling feature.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool. Even going to the end of the movie with the kind of reveal there, I love that kind of stuff. Uh, um, Jack O'Connell as the main vampire guy. I'm a big Jack O'Connell fan. He did a western called Godless a few years ago. I love that show. He's very good in that. I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of the monster vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, the action scenes in this movie are not some of my favorites.
Okay.
Particularly the main one when what's her name, the shop owner, her husband went outside and she tells them
Oh
to come
yeah.
inside because she's ready to fight. There's an action scene where they kind of come in, they don't come in, they get in and then they leave. The action scenes felt a little discombobulated to me, and maybe that's just the vampires overall felt a little discombobulated. I wasn't sure their total purpose and their total agenda and how strong-willed they were to get it done. I felt like if they wanted to, the fighting, the party, the murdering of those whatever 8 people, 6 people in the barn or the slaughterhouse or whatever could have been killed quite easily. I didn't like the final kill either. where I don't know where. I think it's Stack again. I can't remember which one dies. I don't know where he came from. I don't know how he got there to stab the main vampire in the
Mhm.
back. He was in the barn, and then he somehow made his way through an entire swarm of vampires to stab that guy in the back. I thought that was a little coincidental. Again, visually outstanding. Story wise, I love where it went at the end. Michael B. Jordan is so good. Huge Ryan Coogler fan. I think in general he directed a very good movie. Aside from a few small action bits that I didn't vibe with, but I think this movie has a ton of rewatchability. For one, the acting. I think the music is one that just will keep you coming back for more. And again, I mentioned the IMAX thing, but how the music was told in a helped the story, but then the IMAX was helped progress the story as well. I think I really like the kind of the imagination of some of the stuff, some of the story beats and some of the character moments and the sounds, the visuals. Yeah, I had a good time with it. It was good. It was it was good. That's pretty much it.
Okay. I
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Joe said some part with Dust Till Dawn. I like that he mentions From Dust Till Dawn because a lot of people, and I don't mean this in a mean way or like a gatekeeper thing,
Mhm.
but a lot of people are treating this as it was a completely original concept.
Right.
From Dust Till Dawn exists. They
Sure.
are really similar, really similar. Um, and if you like this, go check out From Dust Till Dawn. You might like that too.
Yeah, I think the action is very much like that from Dusk Till Dawn.
It's
It felt like that. But what elevates Sinners over Dusk Till Dawn for me is everything before the action. Everything with the vampires before they come to the party, and everything with Smoke and Stack before they get to the party, and everything that happens with the cousin before they get to the party. It's just it's a tale of this movie's almost a tale of two movies,
it
where it
is.
is Dusk Till Dawn and then it's a serious period piece almost.
See, I say it's better than From Dusk Till Dawn for me.
Sure.
I prefer Sinners. I
Hmm.
like everything about it. The performances from performances from Michael B.
Yeah.
Jordan are fantastic. I don't know if we'll
Hmm.
see that many better performances this year, in my opinion. He
Yep.
does both twins really well. I do have a hard time remembering which is which just because of the names. I wish
Yes.
they had
They
more.
wear blue and one wears red, but it's still very
Yes.
hard.
Well, Smoke Stack is the one who rolls the cigarettes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like if they have more distinct names or something, or more distinct facial features, like something
Right.
different about them.
Yes.
But the performances are still really, really good. The whole cast is great. I like these vampires over the From Dusk Till Dawn vampires because they are the human kind.
Right.
They're not monsters, which usually aren't my thing.
Hmm.
The music, like you said, the music is its own character in this movie.
Right.
It's shot beautifully. I didn't have a problem with the action because I kind of saw it as they had a goal and the goal got screwed up.
Sure.
Once Smoke kills that lady, their plan was done because they knew they
Hmm.
wouldn't get what they wanted. So
Hmm.
they got cornbread. That's all they needed.
Oh, poor cornbread.
He is the MVP of this movie. I
Yeah.
love cornbread.
I like what's his name too? Delroy Lindo.
He was good. Yeah, he was great
I
in
thought he
this.
was funny.
The whole cast is really, really good.
It's a great cast, and even what's her name, Haley Steinfeld.
Oh yeah,
Um, I when I watched the trailer, her with the blood all in her mouth, and she says, "We're going to kill y'all or
yeah.
kill you all"
Kill
or
every
something
one
like
of
that.
you.
That was something that I was like, "Whoa, I don't know what's happening here." I thought that was a little bit of a weird line delivery, but I think her story and how it works with whichever of Michael B. Jordan characters, I think is quite
Stack.
interesting. And then how we see them at the end as well
Love
in the
that.
'90s. I thought that was quite a cool thing. And I was not expecting anything like that. Like I
No.
was not expecting this flash forward to see, and I like the way it ended as well. I like this idea of them letting the cousin go and live out the last bits of his life
It's very,
for the
very.
music. Yeah.
It shows they're not monsters.
Hmm.
A funny thing though, when I was in the theater, I was watching, and you see Haley Steinfeld's character for the first time. She's in daylight.
Yep.
I hadn't seen any trailer other than the one where she's confirmed to be a vampire.
Uh,
So when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it's one of these."
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, well, the walking
Yeah, I was
daylight.
like, okay, well, this is officially ruined.
Daywalkers, yeah.
But then, oh no, she's not a vampire. Okay, cool. This is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Sinners. I do.
Mhm.
Joe says, yeah, but Dusk Till Dawn has a lead up as well with the brothers on the run. Basically, the Tarantino directed part, and then you get the Rodriguez vampire part. Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn is like a melding of the two, and it works really well. I do. I do love From Dusk Till Dawn. I just don't like the vampires the way they look, but I love that movie too. I think that these make a great double feature.
Hmm.
You know, you could even watch Sinners first because it is the old timey one, and then watch From Dusk Till Dawn, which by kid standards is old timey.
Way back in the 90s.
I mean, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino are fantastic in that movie.
Yeah.
I love Tarantino in that. He's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, he's a fucking creep.
He is, but he's fun to watch.
Sure.
But yeah, they're great movies. Sinners, though, I do love, and I prefer it. But they're both really good.
Nice. Yeah, that's it. That's my watches this week. I'm glad I finally got to Sinners. I rented it for an ungodly price because that's the way it works. But I was happy to as well because I wasn't sure if I found it on a different site if it would look as good. That was one thing I was hoping for with the streaming aspect of it. I didn't want to lose anything with the sound or the visuals of it, so I was okay paying the $25 for a rent. $24.99.
I guess
that sucker.
That's almost one IMAX ticket here.
Yeah, exactly. So
I saw ticket prices. I think in New York City for a IMAX ticket was like $29.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Yeah, craziness. Yeah, I also like to see Ryan Coogler doing original stuff again too. Stay out of as much as I like his Black Panther stuff. I like the original side or the non superhero Ryan Coogler. I was going to say franchises, but he did Creed too, so that's okay.
I will watch more Coogler stuff now.
Anything Coogler, yeah.
I don't like, Black Panther 2 is not my favorite. Black Panther 1 I like, but I know he's done better stuff.
Yep.
If Michael B. Jordan is involved, I'm more inclined to watch it.
Oh, I think anything that Coogler does is going to have Michael B. Jordan. He is the Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese and the connection for the new age.
I like Michael B. Jordan anyway, but I think he impressed me more in this movie because of the dual performance. I hope that was a purchase, not a rental.
Rental.
So was it like a 24-hour rental?
I think you get it for 72, but once you start it, you have to finish it in 24 hours.
That is horseshit.
Yep.
I guess that's the way the rentals work here too, though. But I think they're $19.99. I think.
Right. Well, that makes sense. That's a conversion. So.
Yeah. Which I don't understand why they charge you a conversion price when it's digital anyway in Canada.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. It's like, just put it one price, man.
I agree with you. Oh, wait, Chris, I think that's going to do it for this episode. If there's anything else you're looking forward to, we got anything to watch this coming week? What are you going to see?
We got 28 Years Later on Thursday.
Nice.
Very excited for that. I'm taking the kid to Elio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's this week. And I don't know if there's any comics or anything I want to watch. Or read, I mean. Can't think of anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm looking through the list. I'm not sure if there's anything that you are reading at the...
no, I don't think. I think the reading goal is to finish Victorian Psycho this week.
Yep. Yeah, nice. Perfect. All right. Where can people find all your goodness, Chris?
You guys can follow me on the Twitters at thatchris70. I do a bunch of different bullshit. It's all there. I'd love it if you'd follow this show at the QR code I remembered, which now covers Emmett's face. I'm sorry. There it is.
Hey, look at that.
Follow us there.
You can follow me everywhere at Emmet Davis 7. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. All you have to do is search for Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us right there. Thanks to Joe. Thanks to Cookie. We appreciate you guys for checking us out on this fine Tuesday evening. And saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Tuesdays.
Interview with the Vampire Season 3 has started filming. Get excited. End of session. Where's the thing? God damn it.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. As the saying says, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here unless you really want to, though we support you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.